The Fields Auto Group proudly presents Huddle Up, with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser, and NFL Network analyst and former Jaguar Bucky Brooks bring you the latest on your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Everything's got to be about the future. It's got to be about tomorrow and bringing all that into focus as we, attack the season.
Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks starts right now.
And welcome in. It is Wednesday. It is Thanksgiving Eve. And it's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks. We've got a busy show ahead. Of course, NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks joining us from Los Angeles. Senior writer John Oehser joining us from this desk about 6 feet away from me. The Ravens and the Jaguars coming up in Week 12. The Ravens at 7-3, first place in the AFC North. The Jaguars 3-7, third place in the AFC South. We'll go to social media. A couple of questions today. People getting ready for the holiday tomorrow. But the Jaguars back on the practice field today. They were on Monday as well, coming off the bye week. John with me here. Bucky out in L.A. What's up, Buck? Good afternoon.
What's up? We had the bye week, had a week off. Now I'm back. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to see what the Jaguars got cooking up down the stretch.
All right, you're refreshed and ready. John, are you refreshed and ready?
I'm ready.
You're not refreshed?
No.
You're not refreshed?
No. I'm bitter.
Well, nothing's
old.
Bitter,
Never changed.
Bitter and old.
That's the weekly routine. Tell me something new.
Yeah. Welcome to Wednesday.
That's right.
That's John. I think. Hey, so let's hear from Doug Peterson today. There's 7 games left. We just saw the record there, of course, 7-3, and many are saying, "Oh, the Jags are done. They're cooked. It's over. Forget it." They're not mathematically done, and for head coach Doug Peterson, that has to be a mindset. You're alive until you're not.
I'm encouraged by the attitude of the team. I think they're in the right frame of mind, and anything's possible. I've seen it. I've experienced it in this league. You get a little luck on your side. The ball bounces your way, and anything's possible. But we're just taking it one game at a time right now, and we're focused on Baltimore.
One game at a time. That's all you can do. You can't win all 7 unless you win the first one, Bucky, and that starts this week against the Ravens. But that has to be the mindset, right, of a competitor. You're in it until you're mathematically out.
Yeah, you're in it until you're mathematically out of it. And I think for Jaguars fans, I always go back to the way we were sitting back in '96 when we were 3-6 or whatever we were before we went on a run. And what it takes is really kind of stacking them up one game at a time. What you're hoping is that you can play well enough in a game to begin to build some momentum and some belief that you can go on a run. And so as Doug Peterson is talking about, hey, we're in it until we're not, that's a big part of it. And so you want to keep playing. You want the guys to keep practicing as if there's an opportunity. And look, it is. Now, it would take some things to go your way, but what you want to do is control the things that you can control. And the Jaguars certainly can control their preparation and their performance. And so you put all your eggs in that basket and just kind of see what happens after that.
I kind of look at the rest of the season like this, Bucky and JP. They have 7 left. It would not shock me individually if they won any of them. Meaning,
any given Sunday, they can
I think they're going to be in all of them.
Yeah.
I think they're going to upset one or two teams that a lot of fans are saying, "Oh, there's no way they could beat X." We're saying, "Well, they can't beat Dallas, can't beat the Ravens." Teams winning records. I think they'll get a couple of those. What I don't know about this team is, are they good enough in close games to get 5 or 6 of them? I mean, it still feels like that is a little bit of a coin flip. So if you flip a coin, you're probably going 3-4, 4-3. That's probably about their limit. The other thing that, don't take this the wrong way, Bucky, but that 96 team, I covered it really good when they got to the playoffs. Those last 5 games they played that year were against teams that were struggling. Jaguars have a little bit more of a tough road if they're going to try to do that, because you've got Baltimore, Dallas, the Jets, Tennessee twice. Who are playing for something and need it. So it's a tough road, but I think they're going to be better, and I think they're going to get 2 that people don't expect, and I think that will make people feel good going into the offseason.
Interesting.
No, look, I think that's a very valid point. No, we certainly, I would say, gave away the games on the schedule that might have been marked down as winnable games early, right? You give away a game to the Houston Texans, no disrespect, even though they have an 8-game winning streak over us. You think about some of the other games that are potential snatchers, like in terms of the Washington Commanders. But so you can't get those games back. But what you can do is hope to put yourself in a position to win those games. We have seen this team play well at times against solid teams and maybe disappoint. I think the main thing that you want to finish the season with is you want to finish the season with a clear sense of who you are from an identity standpoint. What's our style of play? How do we get after it on both sides of the ball? And where can we kind of continue to build to make sure that we're always playing to the brand? And so as Doug Peterson talks about making sure that the team kind of plays the right way, playing the right way is making sure you're playing to the standard and the brand so you now can fill in the pieces next year in the offseason via free agency or the draft. Don't
you feel, Bucky, like you mentioned establishing an identity and figuring out how you're going to play? Don't you feel like through 10 weeks they've made a dramatic stride with that offensively? I feel like I know what Doug wants to be and what this team wants to be. And yes, there's been a few red zone snafus that have sort of curtailed them having a chance to win. But the offense has moved the ball. I feel comfortable this is a good offense now. I feel comfortable that it's going to continue to be productive, that the red zone will get worked out as Trevor gains experience. To me, that all seems on the right track. And I kind of wonder if defensively, if maybe they're not missing a piece or two that will make it difficult to establish it. I'm not sure it's anybody's fault. It's just sort of where they are right now, and you'll have a better chance to do that next year. Maybe I'm missing something.
No, you're not missing anything. I think it's very, very clear and apparent that the team is missing some pieces defensively to allow them to play the way that they, I think, want to play. Right now, you're in a bit of a conundrum in the secondary because if you want to play man-to-man, you don't appear to have the athleticism and the speed to do that on a full-time basis. If you want to play zone, it doesn't appear that you have enough guys with the toolboxes necessary to play zone coverage, meaning whether it's their footwork or whether it's their IQ and in terms of like football IQ, in terms of situational awareness, reading and diagnosing and those things, you don't appear to have all of that. And so as you get into these off-season meetings and you're the defensive coordinator, defensive staff is talking about what they ideally want at the position, maybe in this offseason you can get players that more match the style of play that you envision.
A lot of season left, though, before we get down that path. Still some time to figure all of that out with 7 games to go. We're back in a moment, and we'll get into the next game ahead on the schedule. The Baltimore Ravens come to town. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks is brought to you by Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. Step up to luxury. FieldsAuto.com. Hey, and join us at the bank this Sunday as the Jaguars carve up the Ravens. The Jags will be serving sides of sacks as Josh Allen and the defense come to play. Gosh, I hope so. Seats are selling fast, so call 633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/tickets and lock in your spot for Sunday's game. 10 or more in your crew? Ask about the group ticket discount. This is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Digital Network.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Five Star Credit Union, you inspire them to go the extra mile to meet your financial needs. That's why they offer Jaguars fans more banking options like better rates and no hidden fees. Their team is also dedicated to making the communities they serve stronger, volunteering their time and talents while donating millions to local nonprofits. Five Star Credit Union, FiveStarCU.org. Go Jags!
Thinking about your favorite whiskey or whiskey-based cocktail for this weekend's party or tailgate? Us too. While you're out shopping for supplies, don't forget to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars whiskey available at most local Jacksonville liquor stores. Not leaving the couch this weekend? No problem. You can also order a bottle online at citrusdistillersonline.com. Every bottle is made locally here in Duval, ball.
You just hope to slow him down, honestly. Have gone against him before, and he definitely can beat you both running and throwing. And you just got to be, you got to be committed to the discipline of your job, and it just comes down to that. And obviously you got to win your matchups, on defense, and you can't let your eyes wander. You got to be disciplined there. And you, like I said, you just hope to contain. He's going to make his plays. He's that good, but when you get a chance to tackle him, you got to make sure you wrap him up because he's strong enough to get out of that too.
That's the head coach, of course, Doug Peterson, earlier today. And welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser alongside as well. The Jaguars and the Baltimore Ravens. This Sunday's game presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. More from the head coach coming up, and more on the Ravens coming up. But some breaking news, Bucky. Your colleague at NFL Network, Ian Rappaport, and Tom Pelissero reporting that the Jaguars have claimed running back Darrell Henderson, who was cut by the Rams. Interesting. First off, what'd you make of the cut in L.A.? And, hey, what do you think he could do here?
No, I think it's a very interesting move. And the reason why it's interesting is because we talked about when you lost James Robinson, who were the next guys up. And so you saw Jermichael Hasty have more opportunities, but you still knew you needed another one. Henderson has been a very productive back for the Rams. I won't say very. He's been a productive back. I think he was their leading rusher this year. And so now you get a guy who has an opportunity to jump into rotation and make some contributions to take some of the load off Travis Etienne. One of the things you want to do when you're looking at waiver wire acquisition is this guy capable of filling a role? Can he fill a role on offense while also giving you some special teams ability? Obviously, the Jaguars believe that he can do. So it should be great. It should be a great move. Great addition.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. A running back can come in and contribute pretty quickly. I think a lot of fans would say, well, why did you give up J-Rob in the first place? Well, they wanted, there were other factors there. They wanted to get value for a player they thought they could get some value from. Keeping an eye on the big picture of the rebuild within this season, this move makes a lot of sense, and I think he'll help. I know they don't want to have Travis Etienne touching the ball 28, 29 times, which I think was his number against the Raiders.
That's right.
It was up
high.
there.
It was high.
They don't like that high. So this seemed like a move that they clearly weren't desperate to do that because they didn't do it over the bye. They waited until the pitch kind of came to them. But the pitch kind of came to them and they swung.
So there you have it. Well, that just broke about 5-7 minutes ago on Twitter from Ian Rappaport. Darrell Henderson claimed by the Jaguars. Now, priority number one this week, guys, Lamar Jackson. You might have heard of him, former MVP, quarterback, can run all over the field, can throw it around also. And on your screen, you see his numbers this year. 2,000 through the air almost. He's run for 3 touchdowns. He's thrown for 16, 7 picks. He only has one outing against the Jaguars. It was pretty good, though. 3 touchdowns back in 2020. His last game in this stadium was 2017, New Year's Eve, the Tax Slayer Bowl, as it was called at the time. It was his last college game. He threw 4 interceptions in the game. He ran for over 150 yards and a touchdown as well, threw a couple touchdown passes, but Mississippi State won that game over Louisville. That's been a while, but Lamar Jackson is priority number one this week, guys, no doubt.
Well, and Bucky, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know it's your show, but I think that stat that JP just threw out speaks to the vision that you kind of have to respect the Ravens for having. Because this kid was not a guarantee. Like, there's a lot of people who always criticize every team that passed on. Well, why in the world did you do that? Well, there were a lot of questions, and that game showed a lot of questions. And you have to give the Ravens a lot of credit for seeing it, knowing what they wanted, building around, helping him develop. So, I don't have a question for the scout and the draft, Nick, but here's a question for the draft guy. Where did you have Lamar, and are you surprised that he's been as great as he's been? Because he has been great.
I thought he was underrated in the process. I think my issue with the way Lamar was viewed was whatever issue you had Lamar Jackson, you had to have similar issues with Josh Allen. And so the disparity between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson kind of baffled me, because Lamar Jackson was a better and more productive college player than Josh Allen, yet Josh Allen was viewed as a better prospect because of height, weight, speed, and not intangibles, but arm talent and those things. I still think that the Baltimore Ravens haven't fully tapped into all that Lamar Jackson could be. And that's kind of crazy to say that when you talk about a former MVP candidate and a guy who has an extremely successful record as a starter. But yeah, the Taxslayer Bowl certainly impacted the way people viewed him, because he had a lot of mistakes, a lot of turnovers, and it kind of kicked up the narrative again that he couldn't be a pocket quarterback, that he couldn't function within the pocket and have to deliver dime after dime if he's not able to utilize his athleticism.
Here's another question for the scout or whatever we're calling Bucky today.
Right.
And I've wrestled with this all week, and it doesn't matter. It's just kind of an interesting question. Who scares you more, Bucky? If you're, 10 points up on a team with 12 minutes to go, and you've got either Mahomes or Lamar, what scares you more? And I guess the point is they both scare you, but Lamar in that situation, whatever you say he's not, whatever he is or isn't, when the game's on the line and you need points, this guy's as dangerous as the guys that they consider absolutely elite.
Yeah, the funny thing about Lamar in comparison to Patrick Mahomes, I think Patrick Mahomes is kind of the perfect world, right? Because what you ideally want is an A-plus quarterback who is athletic. He has that. Patrick Mahomes is athletic as they come when it comes to it, but running is secondary. Now, he's not the runner that Lamar Jackson is, but he runs just enough to annoy you. Picking up first downs, scrambles, improvisational skills where he's able to make plays on and off schedule. Lamar Jackson is a more dynamic runner. The strength of his game speaks to it is his running ability, his ability to run in between the tackles, get on the edges, and those things. He does have outstanding arm talent. I believe he's really at his best because it's funny. We've seen him kind of be stuck in an offense where he's always in shotgun. I would love to see him have the opportunity to run a Kyle Shanahan type offense where he is under center. He is able to control the backside defensive end with bootlegs and those things, because that's what he did in Louisville. I think people forget that he played for Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino isn't an RPO guy. Bobby Petrino has some pro-style elements to that offense. And so I don't believe he's been fully maximized during his time at Baltimore, but he is very, very dangerous, even in those late game situations, because even if he's inaccurate, his athleticism poses a lot of problems, and it changes how you have to call your defense in those moments.
Yeah, it's funny, JP. I'm the biggest pocket passer snob
yes,
there is.
I'm aware.
Yeah. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
But and so as soon as I sit here and say, well, I'd rather have Mahomes because he can do it from the pocket, when I really sit there and think about how I'm going to feel in the press box on Sunday if the Jaguars are leading by 5 with 3 minutes to go,
that's right,
there's not that much difference in the fear factor with Mahomes on the field as Lamar Jackson. So I guess that's my point is, you can say ideally what you want in a quarterback, but this guy is dangerous, effective, and I'm not so sure that he's not just as much of a winner, all that stuff, as Mahomes.
And then take into consideration the changes that the Jaguars defense is going to come out of the bye week with, and Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma are going to rotate, according to head coach Doug Peterson, down the stretch here at linebacker. They've had some issues against running-style quarterbacks this year, Bucky, and the tight end game over the years, as we've known it, against this Jags defense has, other tight ends have played well, and Mark Andrews is a good one for sure for the Ravens. So it's a tough challenge this week. And how about, first of all, that rotation? Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma, 2 rookie linebackers, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it should be really interesting to see how this plays out. Chad Muma is a stud. I've liked him throughout the process. I thought he was one of the top linebackers in the draft. Devin Lloyd, I've also had an affinity for because I felt like his versatility and big play ability would eventually make him a star at the next level. The fact that these guys are sharing time, yeah, it kind of speaks to maybe there's some concerns about which one should be on the field more, which doesn't really bode well for Devin Lloyd. But I think what you do is you get as many good players on the field as you can, and then you figure out the best way to play them. Chad Muma is outstanding. I mean, he really reminds me a lot of Logan Wilson, who's up at Cincinnati, who was his counterpart at Wyoming. He's a terrific player, great instincts, great awareness, natural communicator, all those things. I think Devin Lloyd is also outstanding, but I don't know if he's kind of found his way in this defense, and I also don't know if the coaches have fully figured out how to deploy him to put him in a position where he's always playing to his strengths.
Yeah, and I had a couple people email me this week of, well, you're going to lose speed and the ability to chase down Lamar Jackson if you have Muma on the field. I don't know that Lloyd's that much better a run and chase guy than Muma. I think Lloyd has that knack for making plays, but when I watched Muma in college, Bucky, I saw a fast guy who can chase.
Yeah, look, his thing was he was a linebacker, like a linebacker that could play in the middle, a linebacker that played weak side, great instincts and awareness, could key and diagnose, plays fast, as a sideline-to-sideline chaser. In my estimation, I felt like he was a guy that was like a borderline first, second-round pick just because of the way that he collected tackles and made plays. Devin Lloyd is a different type linebacker, and I think it's unfortunate they're playing the same position in this defense, but Devin Lloyd, to me, was more of an edge presence, more so than an off-ball linebacker. Now, he's been able to transition. He's made plays and done some things, but it was his versatility, his pass rush ability, and then his overall playmaking ability that really made him a first-round pick. Not necessarily that he was an off-the-ball linebacker that was going to sit there and play like Shaquille Leonard has played for the Indianapolis Colts for years. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's got to need to spend some time on the edges. He needs to be blitzed. He needs to occasionally drop in coverage. He is not your traditional, hey, I'm going to sit in a 50 alignment and play this position kind of like they played in yesteryear. He's not that kind of player.
Would you give Devin some pass rush snaps, outside linebacker types?
Absolutely, because I think ultimately, man, when you evaluate college players, you have to put them in a role that is very similar to the role that they played in college if you want that kind of production. And so he was a very impactful pass rusher. We've seen him make plays on interceptions, but he is a guy that I believe needs to come forward more than he goes backwards because the plays come. He has too long of a history of being a playmaker to not have plays made with him on the field. You got to put your guys in the best position to make plays, and the Jaguars are still kind of sorting through that, and eventually maybe they'll find a solution.
We'll come back in a moment. A little more on the Ravens-Jaguars matchup, of course. We'll get to social media. Question on Twitter today, and it's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Digital Network.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
These guys have played a lot of football together, right? It's a vet group played together, even though it's a new coordinator. Scheme-wise, it's the same, right? And they've played a lot of football together. There's a lot of confidence there. Mixed fronts, mixed personnel, blitz you at any time, and then create some havoc that way. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge to run the ball, but you still have to try.
That's the head coach, Doug Peterson, earlier today on the Ravens defense. Welcome back. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on a Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve. JP Shadrick, John Oehser, and Bucky Brooks. The Jaguars and the Ravens coming up Sunday at TIAA Bank Field. Team will have some work tomorrow, a little bit, and then normal work on Friday. And there we go. It's game week. The Jags are back home this Sunday, and, this Ravens defense is really good, Bucky. I mean, they've been at it for a long time. His point was this group has been together for a while. Some veteran players on that team, starting with Calais Campbell up front, and some veteran pass rushers on this team. And then the linebacker group's playing well. They got guys on the back end. It's about as complete of a defense as you'll find, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very complete defense. It's a defense that challenges you in a bunch of different ways. One, physicality and toughness. You can be challenged in that regard. You got to be able to put your big boy pads on and kind of go and brawl in the phone booth. The other part that you have to deal with is you got to deal with all of the different pressures and exotics that they will bring. Mike McDonald's a new defensive coordinator, but he's a Raven, and Raven defensive coordinators love to bring pressure. They're not afraid to come after you. They'll bring pressure from everywhere, and they're going to test the quarterback. And then the final part of it is this is a defense that is loaded with playmakers and ball hawks. Marcus Peters loves to sit and squat, and he's going to try and take one or two from Trevor Lawrence. Marlon Humphrey has a knack for punching the ball out. So whenever you have the ball and you're in his proximity, you got to put two hands on it because he'll knock it out. And so this is a game that'll kind of test the fundamentals of the Jaguars, but it also will test the mindset. How mentally tough are the Jaguars? Can they brawl with one of the best brawling teams in football?
Yeah, I think it's a really tough test, maybe tougher than the record indicates. The Ravens have been up by 10 points in every game they've played, which is a pretty remarkable thing. And they've seemed to, in the last couple of weeks, got it figured out on defense where they're not giving up those leads. When you add Roquan Smith to this, it gives them a dynamic and a playmaking thing that they didn't have early. Mm-hmm. I just feel maybe I over-worry about Jaguars' opponents, but I feel like this is a team that's peaking at the right time. It's going to be focused. The Ravens are very well coached, and I like teams that know what they are, and the Ravens fit that. I think this might be I would be surprised if the Ravens don't win this. I think it'll be close. I'd maybe be as surprised if they won this as any game left on the schedule. I think this may be the toughest. I know Dallas blew out Minnesota, but Dallas is a little bit up and down. Yeah, Ravens are so consistent and so smart that I think this is a tough test, Buck.
Oh, it's a tough test. Now, it's a tough test. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say like, oh, this is one that they absolutely should be able to get. No, it's a tough test. But it's a test, nonetheless, that you got to take on, because if you want to be one of those teams that's regarded as elite down the line, you got to learn how to play these kinds of teams. Because when you look at the way the league is evolving, we're seeing more teams. Rushing attempts are up this year. The highest mark through 11 games since, I want to say, 2008. Passing attempts are down. So the league is going back to yesteryear, where it's the running game, it's physical defenses. Those are the things that you have to win at a high level. And so Jacksonville has to be able to step up and deal with these kinds of teams, because these are the teams that are going to be in the postseason tournament at some point when the Jaguars reach the playoffs.
How do you simplify the defense? And specifically, how do you try to improve against running quarterbacks? It's been the Achilles heel of the defense. I think defense overall has been good against the run, except when they play Daniel Jones, RPO Giants, and Jalen Hurts, RPO Philadelphia. And guess what? Lamar's better than both of those guys. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. But I'm just wondering, Bucky, how do you see them trying to do anything different, more simple, whatever that means?
It's really hard. The reason it's hard is because the Jaguars' personnel. The way that you stop the running quarterback and the RPO game is you have to make sure that you always have an additional defender in the box, meaning if they are in 11 personnel and they have 5 linemen, the tight end in the back, well, you got to have an additional thing. So if they have 6 in the box, you got to have 7 because the quarterback evens up the number. And sometimes you got to drop 8 to account for Lamar Jackson. And so to do that, though, you have to be able to play man-to-man on the outside. Are you good enough to hold up in those situations? We've seen the Jaguars struggle in man-to-man. But the only way you can deal with the myriad of RPOs and creative run-pass option plays that people are throwing out there is you have to man up, you have to lock up, you have to tell those guys on the perimeter, you got to take care of your dude, and we got to make sure that we crush the running game. And if you're unable to cover it, then it just makes it for a long guessing game throughout a 60-minute affair.
We'll come back in a moment. Social media question and our final thoughts ahead of this Ravens-Jaguars matchup. It's week number 12. The Ravens at 7-3, the Jaguars 3-7. This is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Digital Network.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Thinking about your favorite whiskey or whiskey-based cocktail for this weekend's party or tailgate? Us too. While you're out shopping for supplies, don't forget to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars whiskey available at most local Jacksonville liquor stores. Not leaving the couch this weekend? No problem. You can also order a bottle online at citrusdistillersonline.com. Every bottle is made locally here in Duval.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you ready to join the Jaguars? Well, 2023 season ticket deposits are now open. Secure your place in line to select the best seats at the best prices with flexible payment options and pricing for every budget. You don't have to miss out. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets, place your deposit, and be at the bank for every big play in 23. That time of year already. Some home games remaining this season, of course, for the Jaguars. And welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks. Then we take a look outside TIAA Bank Field at the Miller Electric Center. Under construction, scheduled to be open next summer, and the Jaguars football offices will be in the building on the right, the indoor facility on the back end, the grandstand for the practice fields on your left, and it's moving along rapidly. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks is brought to you by Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. Step up to luxury, fieldsauto.com. JP Shadrick, John Oehser, Bucky Brooks. Earlier today, we put out the cat signal on Twitter, and here is the best we come up with today for social media questions. At Zach Bierman, at what point in sub-packages will we see Allen and Walker with a hand on the ground? Could this help their get-off? Does that have anything to do with anything, Bucky?
Some guys are more comfortable being in the three-point stance as opposed to standing up. A lot of times coaches give guys the flexibility to do what they feel most comfortable doing. I don't know if it'll make that much of a difference. I think the main thing is what they do after the stance. Get off is important, but being a great pass rusher requires a few different traits. Great hand skills, great balance, great body control, burst, and then you have to finish. Too often we haven't been in a true situation where we're able to get after the passer, meaning it's obvious passing downs. So now Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker can get in their stance and act like sprinters, pounce off the ball, and then go hunt the quarterback.
I agree. Yeah. The only X factor there is they have had leads late, haven't gotten there, but the opportunities there have been fairly minimal. And I'm always a big believer that, like Bucky, pass rushing is usually about pass rushing opportunities. It's hard to rush the passer in 2nd and 4. So I think that is a factor.
There you have it. Social media question is in. The Jaguars and the Ravens coming up Sunday. The game presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. The Ravens at 7-3, first place in the AFC North. The Jaguars 3-7, third place in the AFC South. And Bucky, how you feeling about this one?
No, I think this was a real tough one. It's a tough one. And so normally in these games, if you're going to win it, I think a lot of it depends on how Doug Peterson sets up the game. He talked about it. When you hear Doug Peterson say, hey, it's going to be very difficult to run, but we still have to run it, my expectation would be watch them spread it out. Very similar to maybe the way they attacked the Indianapolis Colts, where they went empty formation early, some 5 out, get the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands really quickly, and see if the guys can break a tackle and make plays down the road. What you want to avoid is run the ball on every first down, and then you have 2nd and 12. So now Trevor Lawrence is thrown into the teeth of a defense that's cranking up all kinds of exotic pressures. So a mix of quick hitting first down plays, trying to get the 2nd and manageable to keep your quarterback in a situation where he's able to kind of throw against a balanced defense as opposed to a loaded defense geared to stop the passing game.
Yeah, and that's really the art of trying to understand this offense a little bit. That when they do that, people will say, why didn't they run the ball more? But it's, you hear it as well after the games, JP.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I think that's important to bear in mind that when they do the short stuff early, like you're talking about, when they try to get that first down into a 2nd and 6 rather than 2nd and 9, that's not conceding the running game, but it's trying to approach it the approach the running game the way they think will be most effective. And there's a difference there. But if it doesn't work, it'll cause me some grief, JP.
I think so. I can tell. Yeah. All right, so 1 o'clock kickoff time on Sunday here at the bank. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Bucky, favorite Thanksgiving food? Go.
Ooh. I am a guy who likes sweet potato casserole. I know that's been very controversial. I like sweet potato casserole, and I may be one of the few people that like a little cranberry sauce with my Thanksgiving meal. So that's where I'm at. That's what I got for you.
It's your plate. Whatever. You can put whatever you want on it. I'm going to go green bean casserole with mushrooms in it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised. Green bean casserole, really?
You're not surprised?
That's in the top 5?
What is that supposed
green
to be?
Green bean casserole?
Probably number
that's
1.
What you're getting excited for? Green bean casserole?
And not the one you just make out of the can. It's got to be more, like homemade.
With the French onion soup on top?
On top.
Like that's what we're doing?
Let's go. Yes, we are.
All right,
we, as in me, I'm doing.
J.O., what are you doing? What's your deal?
To me, the quality of stuffing / dressing, whatever you prefer to call it, makes or breaks Thanksgiving. If that's good, I mean, sometimes it's bad, but if that is good, then everything else sort of follows.
We have giblets and gravy on top of that.
Yeah,
like we. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, I mean,
see. And you know what, Jay? I might be able to eat with you. I might be able to go over your house and sit down and have a plate. That green bean casserole thing
there's other things on the plate. Yeah. It's not the only thing we're eating over. I mean, come on.
I don't know.
I just picture JP alone with just like
big plate of green bean casserole.
A trough of green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole. I mean, you're going to have to lure me with like desserts or something like that. Because right now, if I'm weighing my options, I don't know about the green bean casserole deal.
Bucky, my door is always open.
I appreciate
As is mine, but apparently you don't want my crappy casserole. Great.
Green bean casserole out the can. What
Thanks
are you doing?
a lot. Unreal. Enjoy. We'll talk to you next week, Bucky, or on Sunday. I guess we'll talk to you on Sunday. We'll see you on Sunday.
Let's do it. Let's get a dub.
Let's get it. That's Bucky Brooks. That's John Oehser. Happy Thanksgiving to our crew. Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, David Cho, Gabby Dalton, everybody involved with the Jaguars.com, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you for watching. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on the Jaguars Digital Network.